Welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm Alex Wilson, your host, and today we're going to talk about cut day, essentially. Going down to 53 men from 80 players earlier today. The deadline was 4 p.m., and of course there was going to be some surprise cuts, the biggest one being linebacker Ryan Connolly. Now, if you remember Connolly from last year, he looked stellar in the first 4 games of the season. He had 1 sack, 20 combined tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. Now, we all know he went down with a torn ACL against the Washington football team in Week 4. He made 3 starts up to that point. Now, what we really liked about Connolly was his instincts. The guy just had a knack for getting into the backfield quickly, stopping the running backs to stop the play dead, essentially. And he was developing really, really quickly and efficiently. Now, why did they cut him? That's the big question everybody's asking. What I think is Devontae Downs. Now, with Blake Martinez being signed to a 3-year deal, they need to have a cemented starter next to Martinez to essentially feel comfortable. And that's kind of something that they didn't have with David Mayo going down. That's 3 weeks potentially he needs to recover. That's the best case scenario. There's a good chance he misses at least 5 weeks of the regular season. He's getting a meniscus trimming. It sounds like he's getting a haircut on his knee. But nonetheless, I think that cutting Connolly is a little bit premature. We know he's coming back from a serious injury with an ACL tear, and actually bouncing back from something like that can be a bit problematic. And that's kind of why I think the Giants elected to release him. Maybe he'll make it through and to the practice squad, which would be the ideal situation. They can kind of just keep him there, develop him quietly. Hopefully nobody snags him, and then boost him up when the opportunity presents itself. Because ultimately, having him as a reserve player would be a great idea. Now, in my opinion, David Mayo is going to get put on injury reserve, or possibly be put on injury reserve. Xavier McKinney definitely, but if Mayo gets placed on there as well, it makes no sense to release Connolly because he could have at least helped in some way. He must have looked really slow. I know he missed about a week of camp, which is a little bit, tough for him to really get back into the flow of things. Maybe some inflammation in his knee, which is probably what happened. A little flare up there, but he did take part in the scrimmages, so that was a good sign. Now, the Giants go moving forward, Devontae Downs. He's a little bit bigger of a linebacker. So Blake Martinez is about 6'2", 230 pounds. And Devontae Downs is also 6'2", but weighs 250 pounds. So he's bigger. He's really good against the run. I think he'll fit that inside linebacker spot well. Now, my biggest concern is he fast enough to cover running backs in the flat, to drop back into coverage and maybe cover a tight end? I don't know. That's what's yet to be seen. We haven't seen any real sample size from Devontae Downs. What is he going to produce? Who knows? But he has looked good during camp. Joe Judge is making that final decision with Dave Gettleman, and I think that Downs will be starting Week 1 for the Giants this upcoming season. Now, it's really just a question mark at this point because we have never seen him in this role before. He was formerly drafted by the Vikings, made his way over to the Giants last year. So we'll see what happens there. But Ryan Connolly, very, very big surprise for me, and I'm sure all of you guys as well. Now, to the wide receiver corps, those were a few spots there that, could have been snagged. Alex Bachmann looked phenomenal during camp. Kind of reminded me of like a younger Cole Beasley. Now you have guys like Austin Mack, Benjamin Victor, both Ohio State men. They were both released. So a lot of players the Giants, and we thought would make the roster or at least push for a spot, are no longer in the runnings. So now we're sitting here talking about C.J. Board, who came from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Didn't really play much, but he has a year of NFL experience under his belt in camps and kind of just helping the team progress week in and week out. He did look good as well. So I'm kind of excited to see what he can provide at the wide receiver position. I imagine he'll probably be that 5th spot, behind, of course, Corey Coleman, who also looked phenomenal. Really excited to see what he can do with the Giants. And, that kind of wraps up the biggest surprise guys. A lot of them are smaller ones, but I can read off, some of the guys that just maybe had a chance. Drayvon Askew-Henry, Eric Smith, offensive tackle, he was waived. Cavari Russell, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, cornerback. He was recently signed, but didn't really last more than a week, it seems. Chris Slayton, Garrett Dickerson, Grant Haley, that's another big name that kind of could have been on the roster. He's more of a run-stopping slot guy, not really that great in coverage. Former Penn State teammate with Saquon Barkley. Prince Smith, another undrafted free agent. Alex Tanney, the Tan era has ended. Unfortunately, so has Cooper Rush. He's gone. Kind of new Garrett's system there, but not enough. I guess looks in camp to warrant a position on the active roster. But Tanney's gone. Nico Lalo, another undrafted free agent. Carson Tinker, I think they'll place him on this practice squad as a specialist just in case Casey Kreider, any issues there. Of course, Austin Mack, Tavian Feaster, Connolly, the big one, Johnny Holton. I thought he would actually be a good replacement for Cody Core as a gunner, but it seems like it just didn't work out. Chris Williamson, who was a 7th-round draft pick for the Giants this year. There was no way the Giants were going to be able to keep all 4 of their 7th-round draft picks. They had T.J. Brunson and Tay Crowder as well. So there's a bunch of guys there that was competing. I think Williamson was just the odd man out with a lot of those late-round undrafted cornerbacks. And now they have Isaac Yadom. I think that's how you say his last name, Yadom. And he was a former 3rd-round pick. So we'll see how he provides the Giants with some value, hopefully. Alex Bachmann, of course. Derek Dillon, another one that was kind of had an opportunity as maybe a kick returner, didn't make it. Eric Tomlinson, John Jalapeno, that was another big one. I thought Spencer Pulley would get cut because he had a $2.75 million cap hit. They could have saved some cash with Jalapeno. Tyler Haycraft, another maybe upside guy who some people thought might have made it. Kyle Murphy out of Rhode Island, another guy. He's gone. Dalen Mack, defensive tackle. Josiah Taufa. Linebacker, he spent the time with the Giants on their practice squad last year. He's also gone. Montre Hardage, coming over from the Dolphins. He has experience with Patrick Graham. Gone. Brandon Williams, former 3rd-round pick, missed 2019 due to injury. Gone. John Williams, the other number 26, gone. Prince Smith, gone. David Sills, fractured foot, placed on IR. So that's where we are right now. The roster's pretty much set, ready to go. Football in just a little bit more than a week. I'm pretty excited. I know you guys are, and we will be catching you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in for a quick recap of Cut Day and everything that's been going on in this intense Saturday afternoon. And, of course, they waited until the last second to really release everything. So appreciate all you guys listening, and have a good one.